Everybody, welcome back to Agrarian Skies, episode 5 with me, Sid. Still here in the past, playing a really old mod pack. And I think this episode we are going to have to concentrate on, well, A, bringing that lot down. I have, let me just munch on that for a second. There we go. No, munch on that for a second. Come on, get it in your system. Thank you. I have created an infinite water source in the corner of the room there. So that's all good. Which means that we can now think about removing all of this, including the sand, putting some more farm plots down. Once this is down, we can get this all laid out nicely. And we also need to think about a space for a Tinker's Construct Smeltery, and this guy, he's an angry zombie, has survived the fall, which, whoa, hello. Yeah, this farm is working, definitely. A few things shooting off the edge. That's a minor issue. What are you? Sapper, blast off, and weakness. No, I think we'll leave you to despawn. That is the only fly in the ointment of this farm, and that is the big boy zombies. There we go. That can go away. That can go away. That can go away. Now, interestingly, it was suggested that I could fill, and I'm going to test this with one of these. Now, I didn't at the time have a water bottle. Yeah, you can fill it with a water bottle. That is useful to know. So, what do we need to do? Well, we need to start off in our quest book where we can claim that. Now, fishing, a comment that was fish is the thing. I really struggled to get fishing to work on this map. It just really did not want to play ball. Maybe I was spoiled by later versions of fishing in Minecraft, but we need to make these: a seared tank, smeltery controller, seared drain, faucets, casting table, and bricks. Now, all of these need, well, let's have a look. Seared bricks. Seared tank requires seared bricks and some glass. Now, glass we can do, that's easy. We just, if I can get the right thing, hang on. Nope, there. We just cook some sand, that's easy. Seared bricks, we need grout, we need clay, sand and gravel. Sand, of course, we can get from slag, but we also get it by putting dust into water sources. So essentially what we are going to have to do here, that will do me, is basically mine a whole load of gravel. Oh, no, flint, not gravel, that's the word I was looking for. Mine a whole load of cobble, hammer a whole load of cobble, and turn it into grout and make enough to make all of those things. I also want to reduce this down so we've got space to build a smeltery, probably off the back of this cobblegen. Just to also say, this is the last episode of Agrarian Skies before I go away for 10 days, so there will be a brief pause in uploads for this series for 10 days while I run a holiday series. I am not going to be it's not going to be one of these holiday series which then runs for like 17 weeks after the holiday's finished. I am going to only be playing the game that I am intending to play for the 10 days, 11 days actually, because I'll probably give myself a little bit of wiggle room on the other side. 10 or 11 days, something like that, and then we'll be moving on to, or back to the regular program. So that's the thing. But first things first, I'll get these trees down and we'll then see about hammering at some cobble. I mean, I suppose I could just hammer that directly, couldn't I? Makes a lot of sense. Saves me digging it. I don't need it. Oh, hello. Hang on. Did I? Okay. Let's go make a crook so we can finish harvesting the tree. But yeah, so I will grab myself a whole load of gravel and we'll take it from there. I'll be back in a short while. Alright, we've got 96 gravel. I figured 96 is a nice figure because I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then we do the same again. And then we'll have 16 sand, 16 dust and 16 gravel, and that will make me a certain amount of grout, and if that's not enough I'll rinse and repeat. But yeah, it's definitely more efficient hammering the cobble directly in the cobble gen, at least from the point of view of doing that. And then 1, 2, 3, and this will then turn into sand. And that should hopefully be a start. Now it might not be enough to make a cobble gen, and I honestly cannot remember whether this version in Minecraft's history what the minimum size of a cobble gen was. Now I know more modern, not more cobble gen, Tinker's Construct Smeltery. I know, for example, that I must have had a bottle from somewhere. Okay, that's fine. Let me just eat a bit of melon. So we have the water source is accessible from inside and out, which is pretty much what I wanted. This is probably going to give us way more clay than we need, and it's trying to shoot it off the edge as well, just for good measure. But that doesn't matter, because we can fill these all day from our little water source here. And make our clay. So that's a bonus. I'm tempted now just to move these into a line, but we'll do that in a moment. Just because this was like this, because I wasn't sure whether the thing that was protruding from the top there would stop the water from doing its thing. 17 more. Okay, that's fine. We're going to want some of this anyway, because until we get an iron bucket, we are going to be making clay buckets, and clay buckets are obviously inefficient insofar as they break when you move lava around. So kind of a consideration. Just, well, I mean, there's a lot of just to address some of the comments while we're doing this. So there have been a number of people saying how great it is to have this kind of nostalgia, and I am really enjoying having this kind of nostalgia trip, to the point where I think I may do this with a few other packs, and I'll probably use my Discord server to poll some options. Options are going to include things like crash landing or regrowth, which I suspect will be the favourite if I'm honest. Just because I know from experience that was probably one of the favourite series that most people had. You know, this monolithic pack. And Regrowth was, I think, a classic. But I also did like Crash Landing. Crash Landing was great. Now, one thing that has been mentioned in the comments is Agrarian Skies 2. I agree, it was a more complete mod pack. It was also, I think, 1710, so which gave it an automatic advantage that, you know, obviously 164 was really early doors in Minecraft's history. So, I don't think you can really compare the two, but Agrarian Skies 2 would be something I might consider as an option to have a revisit of. I mean, if I was going to do the pack that I did first before and I was just looking back at my channel, the very first videos I did were in Feed the Beast. Back when Feed the Beast was a mod pack and not a launcher or Feed the Beast 2 or 3, or, you know, it was quite seriously, you know, a beast of a, pardon the pun, of a pack. So yeah, that was a thing. Right, let me just put that bottle away before I lose it, and I would like to do that, and that to make 64 grout. We'll pop you in there to start off with, and we'll just use some of the stuff there. I could do with a little bit of well, I need, let me just double check the quest actually, because I know I need a tank, but that is the Smeltery controller. Yeah, it's only that. I need one piece of glass, so let us get this down to sand. And I'm going to take half of that lot out. I'm going to pop that in there, and then we'll put the rest of the grout in, and that will get us going. And obviously I've got plenty of wood, so we can make lots and lots more. Now I am also going to fill this up with plenty of cobblestone. We're going to get some lava going, because we're going to need lava as fuel for it. Yeah, and I suppose to get the fishing quest I'm going to have to come up with some kind of pond that works, because I really struggled to get that to work. Let's just go and have a look, see what we've got going on down here. Probably just a bit now. Ideally, we'd like to get to the point where we have a hopper and we just capture everything in a hopper and it comes into a chest. So for that, iron's going to be probably the order of the day. But to get enough iron to make a hopper, which is not a huge amount, it's only 5, it's going to be beneficial if we can... Oh, you've run out of fuel, haven't you? Okay, let me take half of that and pop that up there. Yeah, we've got 2, and then we've got some dusts. There's an iron ore dust which we can double, which will give us 4. So if I do a little bit more, then more grinding and sifting, we can get into the point where we can hopefully get enough for a hopper and put a chest in, and we can start collecting everything, and that'll allow me to really start hammering out the dirt, because we're going to need to We're going to need to build the island off this way for the animals. The other thing is nickel. I'd like to make a nickel spike. I think it was nickel. Hang on, nickel. Goes into that, which can be crafted into things like... If I can get myself back into here. I thought we could make a nickel sword. Was it nickel? No, it wasn't. It was Invar. So there's an Invar spike, which requires some Invar, and Invar is, of course, an alloy of iron and ferrous, of iron and nickel. Let's be honest, it's iron and nickel, which is made by mixing 2 iron and 1 nickel to make 3 Invar. So that is going to be beneficial as well. I think these melons are going to be pretty good as well. Largely waiting on cooking items, but we can go and get the let's go and start off with that. There's our tank. Then we need a smeltery controller. Now, if I'm not mistaken, a smeltery controller was that. I think a smeltery table was that. That was your faucet. This is memory. We need a smeltery drain and a seared brick. Smeltery drain is... No, that's a basin. I actually can't remember the drain. Okay, that's the one that I can't get. Let's have a look. Smeltery drain. Okay, yeah, almost. And we need a couple more to make a smeltery brick thing. So that should give us everything, which gives me a whole bunch of bricks, and we get to choose a full heart, a peach sapling, slimy sapling. Now, to get started, blah blah blah. Okay, let me go and just have a look at mighty smelting. Construction. Oh yeah, of course. This is thing. So you need 9 seared bricks. Yeah, I didn't think we were going to get away with anything less. So that's... However, if we complete this quest, I'm going to go with the reward bag. Slimy sapling or reward bag. Is it possible to get a slimy sapling any other way? Let's have a look. The only way I can see that we can get a slimy sapling is if we were to have a slime island, which I don't see. Lots of clouds. I think I'm going to have to go for the slimy sapling. I think that is... If we want to do slime, that's going to be probably where we need to go. I may regret that, but we'll see. Can I plant you on dirt? I can. Right. So the next thing I need to do, apart from perhaps empty my inventory of all the things I don't want to throw over the side in the event that I die, is level this down and build out underneath. And I think I have got a number of blocks ready. I've got another, oh, we can make another heart, can't we? Because I've got a half heart as well. But always good to have a few lives, because you never know when you're going to kick it. And I think we'll actually sleep. So I think what we'll do is we go underneath the island with the blocks, and then when we break the blocks we don't lose them. That's a big brain idea, you see. Ultimately I may or may not make this pretty. And I'm going to stick with may or may not, because at the end of the day, this is not going to be I don't intend this to be a full-on series. This is a blast from the past, looking at some nice little reminiscences of things we've done. So I'm very tempted to go and fill those. Let me grab you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you. And then I can grab that, and I can pop that there. And I can grab that one, and I can pop it there. And then that one we can use to fill these water sources in, basically. Grab you, and better put that on just so I can make sure that I'm not leaving myself open to mob spawn. Well, I am leaving myself open to mob spawning. I need to make sure that I'm not leaving myself open to undue mob spawning, you know, like that. That's going to fall off the edge. Ugh, I don't like this. I don't like it. I hate Skyblock. I don't know why I picked to do this. Doesn't matter, we will get there. So we got a little bit more to go underneath, and we can continue on doing this and then lighting up, and we'll have a nice big space to put our smeltery down, which will be great. Yeah, we can continue around like this for a bit, and then we'll do another block. Oh God, I hate this bit. I know I can't fall. This, you know, this is one of those wonderful and totally irrational fears. I know it's irrational, but it doesn't make it any easier to deal with. Knowing that you're being silly about something doesn't make you any less inclined to be silly. You know, for the longest time I used to have a horrific fear of spiders. You know, to an incapacitating level of fear of spiders. And, you know, it's an interesting fear in the UK because unless you're really unlucky, and I mean, I do know someone who had some really severe ulceration from a British spider bite. It just went the wrong way, you know. It is possible to get a bite from a British house spider. It's very rare, and for the most part, British spiders can't break the skin, as far as I'm aware. I think there's one that we often call, or certainly I've come across, called the harvestman. It's a little like round ball-like spider with long, spindly legs. Very ugly spidey. I suppose he's handsome enough in his own spidery way, but you know, not everybody's cup of tea in terms of spider, shall we say. And apparently that one, that is a spider that has got fangs which are capable of breaking human skin. So, you know, they are there. But for the most part, in this country, the likelihood of you getting a severe injury from a spider bite is virtually zero. So being scared of a spider in the UK, kind of really silly, you know. It's not like Australia where, you know, they don't have a problem with venomous snakes because the spiders killed them all. I know they do have a problem with venomous snakes before anybody corrects me on that. But you know, that was a Terry Pratchett joke from The Last Continent. If you've not read that book, I seriously recommend it, especially if you're from Australia, because it really does parody the Australians brilliantly. And most people I know who are Australian would agree. They love it. Right, let me get some more of these out. I do need to still get my sissy bars up. Sissy bars are important. And what I would like to do is just have, right now, just a simple setup. So let me just finish off kind of building this out, and I'm going to kind of bring it parallel with that, and then we'll build the platform out from there, I think. And yeah, and I'll be back with you in a moment. Alright, sissy bars are up, so there's no significant likelihood of me wandering off the edge of the thing. I do need to place a few more of the lower edge. These just basically stop things sliding off the edge, and you know, which is beneficial. Pardon me, little tickly cough there. Right, so just going to use up some of these random blocks at the bottom because I don't see any particular need to keep them looking nice. We'll just fill in around the edge to maybe here, and also around there, and then we can basically, I don't think I need that one. I think I could be wrong. We'll find out. But we can pop down a block there. We can stick our controller in there. Stick our drain in there. Block there. Just, yeah, we'll do that. Got it. We'll do that, and we'll stick you in there. And that is a functioning smeltery. Don't need that block there. But we do need to make sure that we're lit properly to prevent any unwanted spawnage. We'll pop you there. We'll pop you there. And we have a Tinker Smeltery. Now the only other thing we need to do is bring ourselves a bucket of lava. I did cut myself a bucket, just the one for now. And we need to then fuel that up, and we need to have a look at the quest book, I think, because there should hopefully now be a few additional bits. Let me just also make these into blocks. They're a lot easier to handle when the blockage. Don't know why I did it like that, but anyway, doesn't matter. And that as well. Lovely. Book, 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 book. So we've done that. We can now do moving molten metals. Fluid ducts from turn can be used to pull molten metals out of the smeltery and into the casting basins using a redstone signal. You can toggle the fluid. Oh, okay, so that is, wow, pneumatic servos. It's been a while since I saw those. We've got steel powered flight. Steel works are new. Pour molten seared stone over materials in new book. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. Bees and trees. Don't think there's anything new there. Okay. So back in here, we have this, and we need an ingot cast and a pickaxe head cast. So for this, you're going to use aluminium brass, as I recall, or gold. Aluminium brass is 3 aluminium to 1 copper. 1 copper, well, that's 2 copper technically. Tin dust, blah blah blah. Have we even got aluminium, or do I need... let's have a look. How do I get aluminium? That was not how I get aluminium. You can get broken aluminium from this. There is a chance when you sieve it of 10%, or right, you can be used to make sand. There's no sieving, is there? So let me just have a You can get that. There's a 10% chance from sand and a 10% chance from dust. So it really doesn't matter which one we do. So we'll start off with this sand that I've got kicking around, because, you know, might as well. Bit of aluminium there already. Look, 2 of them, in fact. And then I'll go and do some gravel, and we're going to do some hammering and sifting, because we need to get 4 aluminium, or at least 2 aluminium. Yeah, we need to get aluminium basically. So got cocoa beans, that'll be handy, and limestone. Right. Let the grind commence. See you in a bit. Alright, so 1 stack of gravel later, almost. And what have we got? Let's have a look. We've got a whole load of stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4 of those nickel, 12 iron, 2 aluminium, a piece of copper, platinum, lead, tin, silver and gold. Which we can obviously process, and then we can do the same for the gravel, and then the pieces, or whatever they're called. I can't remember what they're called. And what we're looking for is enough to make the aluminium brass necessary. So 18, that's 16, that's a 4, that's a 1, that's 2, that's 1, that's 2, that's 12. I think that is where we end up now. So again, process those. Just because at this stage, every single tiny piece of extra is valuable. I think once you get to a certain point, you can kind of go, actually, I don't care. You know, it's not a big deal. However, at this point it is. You know, it's a percentage increase which can make a big deal. The saplings have all grown, by the way, so that's another thing we need to consider. But right now I think we can do 20 of those, 8 of those, 6, 5, 5. What's that, lad? Anything else? Am I missing any tricks? Clearly, oh, we need to drop those off. Clearly we need to process these. Not that. But right now, the one we need to do is 1 copper and 3. Sorry, yeah, 1 copper and 3 aluminium. Three aluminium, 1 copper. Got plenty of iron and everything else, but this is the beast we need to process first off, because that will give us the aluminium brass necessary to make the molds. So in you go, and in you go. Ingot mold, I think, is just a... Now I could do it with a brick, but I think we can just do... You just fire it, don't you? It's... My God, how long is it since I made a brick that way? And then also we probably... Have I got a pickaxe head? Yes. And a piece of cobblestone. A part builder. And that is what we need to make the pickaxe mold. So 8 ingots of aluminium brass. Let's make an ingot mold. Oh wow, you get the brick back. Certainly not used to that. That was most definitely not a feature of modern Minecraft variants. That, I think, was everything it wanted. Yep, so we get a safari net, single use, liquid slime bucket. That's how we would have got the slime. Or I'm going to go with the reward bag this time. And that takes us to moving water around and reduce water, place a source block, blah blah blah. Did you get to you also do your clicking for you, place 3 facing the sieve and set them up to right click. Okay, so we're getting into the realms of making stuff. And we've opened up the wizard quest. And I think that was already open, wasn't it? But yeah, so probably right now, oh, we got a feather falling. I don't understand why I would want that, but anyway, I'm not gonna argue. We are going to go and cast ourselves some more stuff. Starting off with all of these. Let's have a look what's in our basic reward bag. We got a fish, a red herring. Wonderful. Totally worth it. I think a stick still was 2 sticks for a cook, wasn't it? Yeah, I think so. I just don't want to waste an entire piece of charcoal to make myself a cooked fish. And we'll eat those. Alright, let me just process up all of the metals we've got, and I'll be back with you in a second. Alright, we are running low on lava, and we have got a lot of iron off of the back of this. I'm just going to not have anything planted for the time being in that slot, just because I'm kind of running things. So let me just grab a couple of those, grab the rest of those, let's chuck those through that. And then we can, oh hello, but I've also got, I mean this is where we're at currently, so I think we should start off immediately with a bucket, because then I can move lava around freely. Which is probably a valuable usage of the iron. Some platinum. We've got the nickel. Gold, still got the lead to do, still got the tin to do. But I think on the whole, I think we're going to call this episode here. Like I say, there's going to be a 2-week break. I get back early May from Tunisia, so we'll have a couple of weeks where we'll have holiday programming, and I will see you when I get back. But on the note, thank you very much for watching, guys. I will see you soon. Bye for now.